Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Ramadan Mubarak for everyone out there who is spending their time fasting in this holy month of Ramadan, and to everyone else who's supporting each other in this month of peace and prosperity. I wish you all a very blessed month. Before I start, for those of you who don't know me, this is Dr. Muhammad Mustafa Ali, and I'm back at this videos series after a very long time. It has been a few difficult months with the core specialties where I have been back-to-back on calls, and it was difficult to manage creating these videos and answering a lot of queries for all of you. But I will hope to manage my time in which I can try to provide a bit of information for every one of you so that you guys get the best clarity before applying for residency pathways here. I've been receiving a lot of DMs and queries regarding the application process, and some of you who have been getting their applications rejected by the authorities. So I just wanted to make a detailed video to guide you through the eligibility criteria and what is needed from your applications, and how you should be aware of all the information you're putting in, because everything that you put up on your application is something that is going to be held against you. So you need to be completely sure that these are the right information that you're uploading on, because this can later turn into a rejection or an acceptance. So let's work on that. I will try to break it down into a series of 4 videos where we will talk about all the pathways differently, and we will try to summarize it so you can successfully apply for all the applications online. For everyone who has completed their MBRU examinations, this video is a step-up guide for you to finish it as soon as possible. For those of you who have not completed their MBRU examination yet, this is just a video for you to train yourself. Once your MBRU scores are out, this is the process that you need to complete with. This first video will talk about the MBRU pathway in general and the eligibility criteria and how to fill the application form and what all is needed. So let's dive into it without much ado, and let's see what all we can learn from it. So before you start, this is the website that you need to log on to, www.mbru.ac.ae. When you log on to it, just go into the top right hand corner, click on the graduate medical education button, and this is where you select your residency admissions from. So once you select residency admissions, the window for your residency admissions open up. This is where you have everything from A to Z regarding your applications, eligibility criteria, and everything that's required for your application. So just to run through the timeline that's mentioned over here for the current academic year, it says January 22nd, the online applications open, which has already started a long time ago. And March 24th is the deadline for the applications. March 30 is, however, the pending applications completion deadline. Now, what does these two difference mean is that if you can see the star sign at the end of the sentence, it says that no new applications can be created, which means that you can create an application until 24th of March, but after 24th, that's 25th till 30th, you cannot create a new application. Now, there's a difference between both of these statements. Online applications deadline does not mean that you need to completely submit your application, but at least you need to start your process of doing the application before 24th of March. So if you haven't opened up your application or did not apply on the MBRU website, now is the time to at least go and start filling in the details that you already have. Now the next step is just to run through what's going to happen after that is by March 30th, your application must be completed and submitted. If you miss this deadline, this is when your application will be rejected. Then you follow through on April 26th, which is the notification for interviews. Once your application goes to the committee, they review it and they shortlist people to come for interviews. May 3rd to 5th is the time where they hold multiple mini interviews in the MBRU University campus, where you need to be physically present to give your interview sessions. May 24th to 26th is when you have your specialty interviews. These are the candidates that will be shortlisted after the multiple mini interviews, and they can go ahead for the specialty interviews into the specialty choices that they will put in the application form. On June 20th, this is the time for cross-match. Cross-match is basically for all the students that have matched from the specialty interviews who have been shortlisted. They will actually be correlating their interviews from other specialties or from other health authorities that they have applied to. This is just to eliminate any crossover if they have matched in more than one specialties. In such a case, if that happens, that candidate will be sent an email to choose one of the 2 programs that they have matched into. Then one of the programs that they choose ahead on that email session, that is where they will end up matching for the residency program. So this is where the preliminary matching happens, which happens on June 20th. And on June 24th, you have the conditional admission offers, where the office of MBRU will actually email you out saying that you have matched into such and such program through the application and screening process. And October 1st, 2024 will be the commencement of the new academic year, which will be the entry of R1 residents into their specific programs. Now on the left, if you see, there is admission criteria, which has two parts: academic criteria and English criteria. Academic criteria is basically what you need to have before you apply for this application. So basically a bachelor's degree, which is an MBBS degree, or an MD degree that you get from a WHO recognized approved health institution. You must also have met the internship training requirements, which is of 12 months or a 1 year complete program, and that you need to apply with the application form. And typically, candidates within 5 years of graduation from the medical or dental school are selected, but that does not limit people who have crossed the 5-year mark. So this also gives them an edge to apply and to secure a chance if they can also match into specialities of their choices. You also have candidates should not be out of clinical practice for more than 24 months at any point. This is very crucial because people who have gap years on their CV have a negative impact when it comes to the time of interviews. So make sure that you don't have any gap months. Those gap months are covered by either research projects, doing clinical attachments, or observerships somewhere that you have not been out of a hospital practice. Then you have passing a post-qualifying residency entrance exam, which is EMRI or SMLE for the medical residency, or EDRI or SDLE for dental examinations. Now the next part is very crucial for people who are coming from abroad, which are specific for IMGs. Irrespective of their score on the transcript, which could either be a GPA or a percentage, they actually require you to get an ECE report. Now what this ECE report is a standard scoring evaluation system that averages the bridge of all the medical education system that happens worldwide into a uniform level. So any IMG coming from different parts of the world can apply for this report and get a standardized report that is in line or in accordance with the system that's been followed in this country. So this is basically following the US basic standards, because this report is done by a US authority, which is also a formal authority and accepted by the MBRU office. Now, one more thing that is very important to understand is if someone has given the MBRU examination and has re-attempted the examination, the latest result is valid and that is what they will use. If you have scored higher in the previous attempt, unfortunately that's not going to be used on your application, because the office of MBRU will shortlist the score that you have got on your recent examination only. And when you match into the program, you will be joining as full-time training, and you will be aligned to the specific program itself, and you cannot combine yourself with any other program. And enrollment in this program is obviously after you complete the DHA licensing process, which is again a documentation process series that happens from the office of HR. And some people who do not complete the requirements from this may actually end up not matching as well. So be aware of all of these things. Just to give you an overview about how to focus on the ECE report, this is how you do it. Once you click on this link, it will take you to this page, which opens the credential evaluation report, and you have to just go on to the right side and click on services and fees. Once you click on that, you will actually open a page where it shows you multiple types of report, what it's needed. So if you scroll down, you have multiple type of reports, which is general with grade average, course by course, high score in university level, course by course, and subject analysis. So the one that you need is general with grade average. All right. And before you start the service, you can actually click on view sample report, and it will actually show you what the report will come as. So if you see, this is how it will turn out to be. It will come with a US equivalent degree, for example, for whatever transcript you're submitting. As in this case, it was for a bachelor's degree for a civil engineering program, and a grade average given as 3.42. So the grade average is calculated out of 4, which is what is used here. And once you submit all your documents, this is how your report will come out. This will be a PDF report that you can save at yourself and use it in the applications when you're uploading documents. So you basically click on apply online, make an account, follow the steps, and you submit your application and wait for it to be delivered to you. Now, usually it takes around 5 business days for all of these things to happen. All right. And sometimes if you want to expedite your process, if you are missing out a deadline, you can also choose their business day rush service on the application page, and there would be a minimal amount of fee that will add it towards the end, and once you pay for it, it will actually expedite your process as well. Now, going back to the criteria, we get to the English criteria, which is having IELTS academic, TOEFL, or MSAT English. Now, there are questions where people have raised that if OET will be accepted or not. Until last year, OET was also one of their criteria which they were accepting, but from this year onwards, unfortunately, they are not. So make sure you have these minimum scores in either one of these examinations that you choose to do, so that you meet the minimum criteria for successfully completing the English proficiency exam criteria. Then you move on to the documents required, which is one of the most important things of your application. This is what is going to be the whole lot that you need to actually have it organized before you're applying for the pathway. So identification documents, which is basically the recent colored photo which you have in a high resolution format, valid passport copy. It's for UAE nationals. You need to add a certain page as well, which is called the Itbara page. Emirates ID card. If you are a resident of UAE, this is why you will need it. If not, then you don't need this at the current stage. And for UAE nationals, you need a family book. For others, you don't need that. And a residency permit if you are a resident of UAE. If not, you don't need that as well. Now, next you move on to academic documents. Obviously, you need your undergraduate degree certificate. All right. If it's in a different language other than English or Arabic, you would need a notarized English translation of that document. You need your academic transcript the same way as the degree certificate. You will need your internship certificate, which is a compulsory requirement before moving ahead for any pathway in the UAE in the healthcare sector. And then you will need a results of the English proficiency test, your personal statement, your recommendation letters, and your CV, your ECE report, and any additional academic qualifications you have, probably a diploma that you might have done or something. Now, just to run through what is a personal statement and a recommendation letter and how it is different is, personal statement is basically your own statement on why you as a person is fit to be in a certain program or a certain specialty that you're applying for. Reading the personal statement, the interviewer must understand that this person is suitable for this residency program. So you need to sell yourself in a very professional and formal way, saying that why you as a person is the best candidate to be in that residency program, in that particular hospital, or in that specialty. Recommendation letter, however, is highlighting your experience and your achievements by your mentors or superiors. It could be head of departments, it could be consultants from the hospital, or it could be even someone or your professor who has observed you over a period of time. For example, you're applying for general surgery, you're applying for internal medicine, so your professors in surgery, your professors in medicine, your consultants or head of departments of surgery in that particular hospitals write a recommendation highlighting what is really needed from a person who is supposed to join a surgical residency program or internal medicine residency program, and if you have those qualities in you or not. These do not need to be long. It can be 2 to 3 paragraphs long, and it could include just crucial details that if the interview reads it, will understand that this is something which is credible for your profile. ECE report, as we have already discussed on how you can issue it and get it yourselves. CV, there's a whole lot video on how to do a CV. I'll tag it around and you can watch it as well. Additional academic qualifications are as follows. Now, the certificate must be attested and from an accredited institute by the Ministry of Education. So if you're having a foreign degree, you must make sure that you go to the Ministry of Education website, which is an online portal, and upload your documents there, follow the process over there, and make sure that your degree is attested by them so that it creates an equivalent degree to be accepted in this country. Sometimes the degree that you get is not matched at the equal level of the certification you have it in UAE. So you must make sure that you're on the same level as others and you do not have a problem later on. The certificate must have been obtained during the last 5 years, and the period of study should not be less than 1 academic year for the certificate that was completed. This is very crucial. Sometimes online courses will be accepted if it's obtained from an accredited body. This is something that is very crucial for you, as you have to mention all the details properly on your CV. Certificate of completion for entrance exams or preparatory courses are not accepted. So please do not mention them on your CV. Sometimes it can also put a negative remark on your CV because examiners or even interviewers might feel that you're not actually really focused for the residency program here. However, when it pops up into an interview session, when they ask you about it, yes, you can talk about how you have evolved yourself around doing international exams to enhance your CV and your profile. But please make sure that you do not put them on your CV and cause a glitch or cause some crossover between you getting a chance to match into residency programs here. Now, if the certificate is in a language other than English or Arabic, obviously an authorized translation must be attached. And the ECE report, we have already spoken about it earlier. Now, the next is licenses. So the licenses that is really needed for you is the residency entrance examination results, which you're going to do it, which is going to be MBRU or assembly most likely, or it could be EDRI or SDLE for dental programs. And this valid professional license is basically for GP doctors that are working in the UAE. This is not needed for any IMG coming from abroad, because any IMG that's coming from abroad is coming from a series of internship or even just recent graduates, and if they have even worked abroad, it's just for experience. So valid professional license is usually done for GPs in the country. So if you're not falling under that criteria, do not worry about it. Keep your application simple and do not add a lot of things that is going to hinder your process as you go along. Last but not the least is the portfolio, which is basically an advanced form of your CV where you have everything highlighting all positive aspects about you and what all things you need to keep within your profile that they should accept you. Starting with research activity, which is really important. Go through what are the things that they require, either in a publication format, either in a presentation in a scientific event. Try to mention all of them on your CV as possible. Volunteering in a social community activities is very important, so you must go through these things and see if you are meeting those criteria, and if you have more than them, feel free to put it on your CV as it adds more value to your CV. You can do extracurricular courses, which could be like advanced life support, focus, leadership skills. It could be even certificates or even diplomas in various fields of medicine, or even extracurricular activities that can help you out at this stage. Academic awards, if you have got research awards, if you've got academic awards for excellence, all those things you can put out on your CV. It's going to add you and boost up your CV score. And initial approval letter from employer to join the training program as a full-time. This is only for GPs that have been working in the country. Others do not need this. All right, let's go to the selection process, which has basically 4 stages. Once you have successfully completed the online portal and application fee. Starts with shortlisting, goes on to MMI, then to specialty interview, and then to ranking and offering. So the first phase, shortlisting, is the 50% of your application process. Then comes MMI, which is 30%, then specialty interview, which is 20%. Overall, it takes up to 100% with your final scoring, ranking, and then offering you the seat. So MMI, there is just multiple mini interviews where you actually need to test out your ethical skills, which is mostly communication skills, problem solving, empathy, moral or ethical reasoning, and decision making, which is all in all your soft skills. It's your extra core curricular, which is going to be other than your medical approach. So it's not going to be exactly medical scenarios, but it's going to be something else that's going to think, or that's going to assess you out of the box. So these are things that are going to judge you if you're going to be a good physician, you have your good mental capacity to deal with situations, and if you're a safe physician in the future. So this is just going to assess you on a basic level. There is no right or wrong answer. It's a gray scenario. It's just going to assess on how you approach different scenarios approaching you. Then you have the specialty interviews, which is basically how you will be assessed by department program authorities. It could be your program director, program coordinator, associate program directors, consultants, core faculties who will be on interviews with you and just asking you basic medical questions, or even some real life situation or examples, just to assess you if you will really fit in their box or have those checklists done for being a suitable candidate into that program. Then you have your ranking and offering. Once you have all of these scores done, you will be ranked from all the other candidates who have been shortlisted step by step. And after the final ranking, depending upon the specialty you have selected, you will be offered seat if you fall into their range or their criteria for getting a seat in that program. Cross match, as I told you earlier, if you have matched into more than one specialty or more than one specific programs, this is where it happens, where you get shortlisted and you are promptly required to choose one of them from their respective list, and then the cross match and the matching process moves ahead. Now, this is something which is important for everyone to understand, is once you get accepted by the MBRU residency training program, what are you going to enjoy being a resident of that training program? So first, you're going to get a residency visa for trainees only, depending upon the situation from the HR. Once you get accepted, you get medical insurance provided by the hospital. You are covered by malpractice insurance for all the activities you're going to do in the hospital, which means that you are protected and covered in a safe environment while you're training and practicing as a physician. You have e-learning opportunities, access to multiple conferences, educational opportunities, research activities, and even having a huge e-library access that's going to help you in your learning and also help you advance your research methods as well. You are also entitled to get an annual leave for 4 weeks that can be divided into one block, or you can have it all together or in separate days, depending upon how your program is going to give it to you. And you also have a professional development, which is for 5 working days per academic year. This is something what your program is going to enlighten you about it, on how you're going to work behind this in each academic year. And finally, if you have any questions, they are very helpful to reach out on their email or on their helpline number. Just reach them out in the early hours of the day, when they're during the week, when they start after 8:30 or 9, and they go on about their working hours during the day. So if any questions or anything that you have, this is where you reach them out. Now let's quickly go ahead and see how you can apply for the process. So this yellow button you see over here is what you're going to click to apply. Once you click this yellow button, this is the page that's going to open up, which is basically on the right hand side going to give you how to create a new account with your first name and last name, with your email address, confirm your email address, with your password, and confirm your password, and put a valid registered mobile number. If you're from outside the country, just change your country code and put in your mobile number, enter the verification number, and continue. Now what's going to happen after this is you're going to receive an email called a verification email. Once you receive a verification email, your email gets verified and you can successfully log in by putting in your email and password. Always remember your email and password that you mentioned over here, because this is what you're going to use for every time you log in for your application. Now, once you have your email verified, this is the time your application is made, which means that you fall into this category on your timeline. So online applications deadline is until March 24th. So once you have an online application made, you have a unique application ID number, which means you are in the safe place. So even if you're watching this video today and you create a successful online application, you have time until March 30th to complete that application with all the details you have been putting on. So once you create it, once you log in, this is the home page that's going to open up. I'm just going to put random details, and then I'm going to let you maneuver through it to see what all you need to put in order to move ahead with the application. Now, some people have a question that, oh, I don't have an Emirates ID. It's asking me Emirates ID. What am I going to do? It's going to work for me or not? The best way is just follow the steps step by step, and you're going to maneuver through it. For example, let me choose if someone's coming from India. I'm going to select India, and this is automatically going to change. It's going to ask if you have a UAE mother national, yes or no. You can select it accordingly. And do you have an Emirates ID? So here you can select if you don't, that you do not have an Emirates ID. So it's not going to trouble you anymore. All right. And once you just select any random information, I'm just going to select some random details. So country of residence, I just selected India. Passport number, I'm just going to put some random numbers, and then I'm going to save. Once I save and I move to the next, this is the part that opens up where I have to put in all my personal information. This is the information that's going to stick with my application, and this is something that you need to remember, that you need to put all the information that is true, that cannot be edited or changed later on. Like if you see on the right, the ID information, it turns gray, which means I cannot change anymore. So if I want to change it, I need to go back to the ID information and change it so it gets updated over here. All right, so I'm gonna just select my name. I'm just gonna put my middle name. All these asterisk signs is what you need to fill in. Third name, if I have, I'm just gonna put in something. In Arabic, you just copy paste from Google, or you can translate, or you can just skip it as well because it's not mandatory. Professional, I'm applying for medical residency exam. Status is I'm active GME trainee, or I'm an MBRU enrolled student, active DHC employee, or an external candidate. So if I'm not any of these above, I'm an IMG, so I'm going to be an external candidate. So if I am an intern or a resident already here, I'm going to select the first option. So depending upon that, I'll have to change my status. And I obviously select my gender, country of birth, whatever, just select any, which is true. And if you're sponsored by any external entity, yes or no. So I'm just going to select no, and I have all the details you see filled in here. So guardian and next of kin is the next information. For example, if it's your father or mother, you can just put in their names and you can basically just save it there. And relationship to the applicant is what you can mention: father, mother, brother, sister, anyone who's going to be a guardian. It could also be someone who's living in the country that can help you out later with the processes. All right, and some random phone number, email ID, just put in some random one here. So an area of residence, for example, I'm going to select Dubai. And then this is a question list. Have you had any clinical experience in the specialty of your first preference? Yes or no? Have you had any clinical experience post-internship? Did you get a PG degree, like a diploma? Yes or no? Are you employed or currently registered in an MBRU residency program? Yes or no? This is where you are going to put it. Then this is a colored copy of your passport, where you're going to press on this, or open up your documents and upload your passport here. I'm just going to put a random file and it's going to be there. So now you have your photo as well, and you go save and next. All right, so the next page that it takes you out is to the academic information, where you can put in the country where you have studied from, the university that you have done from, the degree, the year you have graduated, the month you have graduated, what was your GPA score in the percentage scale out of 4. And if you have done your ECE transcript, you can just put your GPA score in here, and the GPA result and the GPA shortlisting score will actually appear here later on. Then you have your internship experience. You can select where you have done it from, what was the location, what was the start, and what was the end date. English proficiency examinations, title of the examination, what was it, when was it taken, and what was your score. And then you have your documents that you need to upload. It could be your graduation completion letter, which could be a provisional degree or a final degree copy, your academic transcript. Make sure that all of these are in properly scanned PDF documents. Your internship certificate, your ECE report, and your colored copy of your proficiency of English examination, which is either an IELTS, TOEFL, or an MSAT. So the next step after filling this application would be to save and click on the next button, which will take you to the next page. Now it says that I need to fill in all the details. Let me see what I have missed. Looks like I have actually done everything, but it says just to fill in everything again, and it's working. So I'm just gonna put in submit, and this is where it takes me to the residency entrance examination score. So you have to put in the type of MRE examination you have given, when was your examination date, what was your attempt, what was your percentile score, and what was your rank. So this is your shortlisting score that will appear here, and obviously you need to go down and over here upload your profile as well, which is basically the PDF document that you will get as the result card. This is what you need to upload here. So basically after you upload all the documents and everything, you just click on save and next. This is where it takes you to your preference choices. As for example, whatever choice you select in the earlier stages, you're an external candidate, you're an MBRU student, or you're an intern or a resident in the country, you will get the number of specialities that you can choose from. Since you're an IMG way of approach for this application, the specialty choices you get is just 2 of them. So you can select what from this drop down menu, whatever is available for you. Like you have anesthesia, dermatology, emergency medicine, family medicine, general surgery, internal medicine, neurology, neurosurgery, obstetrics and gynecology, ophthalmology, orthopedics, ENT, pediatric neurology, pediatrics, psychiatry, radiology, urology. So for example, if I'm just going to go down and select general surgery as one of my options, and then I'm going to go down and select emergency medicine as my second option. I'm going to select Dubai Health because that's what is going to alter the place where I'm going to get matched at. And then I'm going to go down and just upload all the remaining documents, which is a recommendation letter, the first, second, personal statement, and CV. All right, the next step would be to just click on save and next, and it takes you to the next page, which is the question list basically. So this is something that they are going to make sure that they get to know about you. Have you participated in a research activity? So you click on yes or no, and it changes your preference accordingly. So if you click yes, it asks you to upload a certain documents. Again, the same way for a research article in a journal, a scientific event that you have attended to, if you participated in any volunteering activity from before, any social community activities, if you attend any extracurricular courses, or if you actually got any academic awards or honors as well or not. So I'm just going to go quickly, just put in some random documents and go to the next so that I can show you how it moves towards the next profile. Now, once you have all of those things filled out, I've just selected randomly no over here just to move on to the next page. But once you have them, just click on yes and fill in the details as required. So once you click on save and you move on to the next, this is just to confirm that I've selected no for each of them, but make sure that you press yes and you put in the proper documents or attachments as PDF documents. So once you confirm, this is what you already have, and this is your application that has been created. So your academic information is here, your examination result for your MBA examination is there, and your portfolio questions that is asked you is already there. So any comments when you submit your request, you can just put them down here. Your application summary is created over here with your application number, when it was created, and the status if it is submitted or not. Now, what you can do is, there are two ways to move ahead. Here you can submit your application, you can complete your payment, you can withdraw your application, or you can edit your preferences. So at this stage, what I try to do is, until 30th, I will try to save my application, and I will go and edit preferences as and when I feel I have upgraded a few things. For example, I've upgraded my residency entrance examination score, I'll go and change that. For example, I have recently published a journal which happened just like 2 days ago, something that can enhance my profile. I go back and edit it, and then I go and complete the payment status and then submit my application. So this is how you reach the end of your application and you submit. Make sure you submit the application before the 30th so that the choices that you have applied for, your name actually enters into those profiles, and you get into the system of going into the shortlisting process, which obviously starts with an MMI followed by a specialty interview. So it's a series of steps. Obviously, there's not one thing that matters to your application. As I said earlier, it's your MD score. Apart from that, it's also your GPA, what you have got in medical school. It's also your CV that you have uploaded with your profile, what that is also going to be scored. And then it proceeds to your interview scores. So interview scores for the MBRU pathway is divided into MMIs and also towards the specialty interviews. So once you get shortlisted from one of them step by step, that's when you end up getting matched into the residency pathway. I hope this was clear. Any questions, you can just drop them down and I'll try to sort them out for you. All the best in applying. I hope everyone succeeds in whatever specialty they're applying for and they get through it smoothly. All the best, people.